When we dropped off last time, I left with a question of thinking about Southeast Asia. Why is Southeast Asia a critical region circa 1500 CE? To answer this question, we have to think about the material and trading world circa 1400. The notion of civilizations and empires, how are they different? Civilization, of course, focuses on culture, and empire is a political distinction. You could talk about Chinese civilization through big, long periods of history, and you could talk about the Ming Empire. That's a specific empire. In some places in Southeast Asia, you can talk about, for example, the Champa civilization, and you can also talk about Champa as a collection of empires, a collection of kingdoms making up an empire along the coastline of Vietnam. Majapahit, a collection of kingdoms making up a trading empire. There are, of course, agricultural revolutions that occur throughout history, and you have the contestation between ruling elites, peasants, priests, and intellectuals. There are still nomadic pastoralists, and these nomadic pastoralists remain prominent up through the present. You also have to think about if there are nomadic pastoralists and also agriculturalists. How do crops and disease play into the interactions of history, and what is the role of the biological old regime in the world system? Pictured here, you see Nagara Vijaya, remnants of a section of Nagara Vijaya, which was a central trading post in Southeast Asia and a major capital city, tens of thousands of people who lived here. When the fleets of Zheng He left China, left Ming China, the first place that they stopped was at Nagara Vijaya. Now I put a note on the slide, not Vijayanagar, because if you inverted this, Vijayanagar is actually an empire in South Asia, right around the same period. From 1400 to 1800, the global population doubles, from about 380 million to about 950 million. There have been many previous explanations to the population increase. Increased technology, shift away from pastoralism and nomadism and so on. But in contemporary research, there's a certain amount that we're willing to admit it's not really technology that had a necessarily positive impact. With technology, you also get increased technology for war, which means increased numbers of the population are dying from conflict. And then you also have this idea that, there's other factors impacting a dramatic shift in the climate, which resulted in a large increase in human population. So certain crops like wheat and rice and millet production were really important, especially in China, where rice and millet were the main crops, rice especially in southern China, but really millet and some wheat in northern China. 9 of the world's largest cities were also in China during the period of circa 1400. The largest was Nanjing. The second largest in the world was Vijayanagar, that's in India. Cairo was the third. Paris only makes it into top 4, but then you have Baghdad, Fez, and Samarkand, along with Constantinople. So really, Asia is the center of the world's population during this time. Animals, tigers were much more prevalent. The elephant line, which the historian Topman describes as a relationship between elephants and kings that exists in this time. And you have essentially kingdoms all the way from Africa through Southwestern Asia, Middle East, through South Asia, through Southeast Asia. They're reliant upon elephants as a form of warfare to hold off the populations that are using horses as a form of warfare. This is actually what keeps South and Southeast Asia independent from the expansion of horse-based armies. So this is a factor during this period of history. The simple fact that there are elephants changes the shape of history. There's a close relationship between humans in the environment in this period as in all other periods. Now, I have previously mentioned the Empire of Majapahit. I want to show it on a map just so you get its size. It's outlined here in purple, an island Southeast Asia and what is now today parts of Malaysia and also a significant portion of Indonesia, including the Moluccas, or the Spice Islands. The Spice Islands are, of course, the target of some European-based exploration. Karaton Majapahit, also known in Indonesian as Kerajaan Majapahit, was a thalassocracy in Southeast Asia, based on the island of Java, part of modern-day Indonesia, that existed from 1293 to circa 1500. It's really the breakup of Majapahit where we start the course. Majapahit reached its peak of glory during the era of Hayam Wuruk, whose reign from 1350 to 1389 was marked by the conquest which extended throughout periods of Southeast Asia. His achievement is also credited to his prime minister, Gajah Mada, who, according to the Nagara Kretagama, which was written in 1365, helped Majapahit become an empire, with 98 tributaries stretching from Sumatra to New Guinea, consisting of present-day Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia, Brunei, parts of southern Thailand, the Sulu archipelago, parts of the Philippines, East Timor, and so forth. Majapahit's sphere of influence is so significant that when you have Zheng He leaving southern China from Guangzhou and Chinese ports from Fuzhou, you also have them stopping at what I mentioned, Vijaya, and then proceeding through the Strait of Malacca, past Malacca, through Majapahit to Pasai and Aceh, and then up to Chittagong in the Bay of Bengal, and then this trading port continuing onward to Eastern Africa, up the coast to Gujarat, and then into the ports of the southwestern Asia and the Middle East. So a whole trading network across the Indian Ocean is held together by this integral cornerstone of the Empire of Majapahit, which is beginning to collapse during the beginning of this course. But this point of the Spice Islands is going to remain quite important.